We do want to go ahead and talk about Hannah. You look back at some of the numbers where we should be this time of the year, and some of the historic monthly totals, and then we'll get into those one-day snowfall totals with the bigger storms coming up. Hannah.
I did. So I looked at March, April, and May. What I did is I looked at the normal snowfall and I took the top 10 snowiest March, April, and May's on record. So our normal snowfall for the month of March is 10.5 inches, while the top 10 snowiest Marches on record, well above that. 1993, that was the snowiest March with just under 31 inches of snow. We've had several snowfalls in March over 20 inches throughout the month. Some of those years: 1965, 1971, 1987, a storm we're going to talk about, a year we're going to talk about, 20.6 inches of snow fell then. Some of the more recent ones: 2017, just over 20 inches of snow fell throughout the month, and 2013, just under 20 inches at 19.9 inches. We also had some snowiest Aprils as well. Our normal snowfall for April, 2.6 inches. The top 10 snowiest Aprils on record, well above that. The snowiest one was back in 2005, just under 15 inches of snow fell. Another recent one, 2007, 14 inches. Some of those more recent ones, 2018, 7.6 inches. And again, our normal snowfall for the month of April, just over 2 inches. Now, as we get to May, our normal snowfall, 0 inches. Now, we have had some snowfall throughout May in the record books. The snowiest May on record, 1966, 5.4 inches of snow fell. Then in 2001, just over an inch and a half snow fell for Youngstown. Now, the other top 7 ones, under an inch, a half an inch in 2020, 0.2 of an inch in 2016. So again, even as it turns warmer, you don't expect to see snow much in May, but as we've looked at those record books, it's not out of the question as we head towards the middle of the year.
And that's something, of course, as we are leaving meteorological winter here at the end of the month, and we move into meteorological spring, which is, of course, March, April, and May. And that's kind of what we're focusing on tonight with where we're going here as far as those big snowfall totals. So you kind of have a feel of what a typical March, April, May will bring. Of course, the snowfall totals wane as we move into that direction. Let's look at the biggest one-day snowfall, and maybe you've been thinking in your mind of those big spring snows, and that goes back to, there it is, that is the benchmark, 1993. Now, these are snowfalls recorded. Now, a lot of you are saying, what about 1950? Well, that was in the fall. We're really focusing here on just spring snowfalls for March, April, and May. And of course, 1993 definitely is the one. In fact, you're going to see that in the numbers. So one-day snowfall in 1993, 14.7 inches of snow fell on March 13th, 1993. I personally remember this well. I was skiing the night before this storm in southwestern Pennsylvania. I was a senior in high school, and I got to experience this storm myself. So quite a storm, one I remember well, and I'm sure a lot of you remember well too. As we look at this list for the biggest one-day snowfalls from March through May, so this is all 3 months, and then you look at a single-day snow. 1993, which we just talked about, the benchmark, the superstorm, the blizzard of 1993, 14.7 inches. Now, here's an interesting fact. 1987 takes the 2 and the 3 spot for one-day snowfall totals. And those were 2 separate snows. One was in late March. The other came earlier into April. And that's pretty impressive stuff. And we're going to take a look at a video of that. That's coming up a little later in the show. A little fun and a backtrack almost 40 years as we take a look at one of our news packages from the station. You're going to see that coming up in the next block of our show coming up. But 11.8 in 1987, then another 10.1 inches also in 1987. 9.8 inches brings in that number 4 spot. That was in 1975, and then 8.9 in 1989. Now, this is just one day. If we look at 2-day snowfalls, That is 1993. Well, again, we go back to the benchmark. So March 13th and 14th added up to 15.4 inches. That is the top 2-day snowfall. And then we'll do it one more time here. And 3-day snowfall. Well, you guessed it, 1993 once again, and that was March 12th, 13th, 14th. So all 3 days added together with that storm, 15.7 inches. And what a storm it was.